Good afternoon, everyone. This is New Era Gardener. Yes, my face is being shown this time. I am New Era Gardener, and this is my wormery. We're going to go over some bins today and see exactly what we got with our new bedding that I made up last weekend. If you remember the video I did on new bedding, this bin is one of the bins that we're going to take a look at and see how the bedding performed, if it kept moisture, if the worms are loving it. So we're going to take a look at this and we're going to see what we got and how they're doing. I'll be right back. I'm going to adjust the camera so you guys can see inside what we got. All right, give me a minute. Okay, we're going to look in this bin and see what we have for bedding. I'm just going to put on my gloves. I have some older gloves that I have. They're a little small, but they serve the purpose. And due to the fact that this bedding is manure, you definitely want to put on some type of protection on your hands. But we're going to take a look at this. Alright, so this is the bedding. Hopefully you can see in there. I'm going to move it back just a little. Everything looks good. There's no dry spots on the top. And that's what I would be looking for if there's dry spots on top. But I don't see any. So that looks good. So I'm just going to kind of go through it. Kind of turn it around. Oh yeah, they're fine. Look at them. They're happy in that. Fat little worms. Moisture's good. It's not wet. Not dry. Has a good moisture content. So I'm happy with that. And there's no reason that when you're using manure to feed them additional food, because they pretty much have it all in here. I mean, that looks good. I don't have a problem with that. Bin looks good. They're happy. And we'll probably notice that the more I check in on them, we're going to see nice fat worms because they're eating the manure. They're eating all their bedding. So that's always a good thing. I decided to put the paper in my manure. I don't know what's going to happen, if it's going to be eaten or it's just going to, what would I say, compost down. And it might just compost down because their bedding in here is manure. So they may not really touch the paper. So, but it's got a good moisture. That's a good moisture. Yeah, that's good moisture. I'm fine with that. As time goes on with the newspaper, I may turn around and spritz it sometimes just to give it some moisture on top with the paper. So, but so far so good. This is one bin that looks good, and this is with the new bedding. Worms are happy. They were lively. As soon as I started digging around, they started moving around. So I was interrupting them. So we're good on this bin. We're going to look at one more bin. This was the first bin that I did. And if you remember, I didn't put I did put coconut coir in there, but I did not put any of the other items. So this one was done on 7/1. Both of these bins were done on 7/1. Actually a day apart. But we're going to take a look at this one. This one has filter fabric on top, and the filter fabric is moist. So that's good. And I can see a little moisture around the side. The only thing that I added to the bedding was, if you remember, Only thing I added to it as far as minerals was some rock dust. No rock dust went in this. I put crab meal, alfalfa, and some kelp. Those were the only three ingredients I put in here. This one has not been touched. This one does have some coconut coir sitting on top with the biochar, because when I did this bin and I emptied out the worms, I didn't do all the worms. I mean, this bin is a little more populated than the other one, but my first little scoop, there's lively worms moving around in there as soon as I scoop up. Yeah, there's plenty of, and I'll be honest with you, crumbling this up, it almost looks like there's quite a bit of castings in there already. But it looks good. It's a little more chunkier than the other one was fine. But overall, still has a good moisture. As you can see, it is clumping. Pulling it up from the top, from the bottom to the top. So it does look good. A little more paper in this one. I mean, as you can see, there's tons of worms. So they're happy. I'm digging down in this corner to pull up, and there's plenty of worms. And like I said, it already looks like there's a lot of castings mixed in there already. But it looks good. I'm happy with it. Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen with the newspaper, the cardboard, if they're really going to eat that, or it's just going to compost down, being in the bedding, with the bedding. So I don't know. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. But once again, we'll check the moisture. Good moisture. Good moisture in it. I'm happy with it. Tell me what you guys think. If any of you guys use manure as your base for your bedding, let me know. Let me know some of the problems that you might have experienced with it, so I kind of know what I'm looking for. The only thing I could say, I did happen to notice, even though there's no food in here, that when I opened it the other day, quite a bit of, I don't know, gnats came out, flies came out, small flies. So that's the only thing I would say, that it might have a little more flies in this because it is a manure. But that's something I will keep an eye on. And I do usually put in a fly trap, and there is one on here. And I might have to change it more often to keep that down. But other than that, I'm happy with the results so far, how it's going and how they're reacting to it. They're not trying to crawl out, so that's a good thing. I don't see any mites or anything like that. So far so good. And once again, maybe next Sunday or over the weekend, we'll do the same thing again. We'll come back, take a look at it. But I do look at my bins every day, but I don't mix them up every day. So maybe we'll come back, we'll take a look at these bins and see how they're doing. All right, so once again, this is New Era Gardener. We just did a check-in on the 2 new bins